in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
The chase towards the chase for the Season 4 Pizza Hut X Series Championship continues here on the S Sports Channel. Good afternoon, or rather, good evening, as dusk begins to settle here on this racetrack. We are getting set here to go racing for 40 laps at Gateway International. This track is roughly about a mile and a quarter in length, but one thing that's very interesting about it is, number one, it's not a repave, so the old surface, as you can see, if you look over a little bit on the left side of the screen, you can see we've got these kind of cracks where they just fill in the cracks for the different lanes, and we can normally have those areas on the track in the corners be very, very slick. So grip's going to be an issue for these drivers tonight, and also grip's going to be an issue in the terms that this track doesn't have a whole lot of banking in the corners. But we're going to see these drivers try double wide, sometimes three wide, because we're getting down to crunch time. After this race, it's Hillside and M&M's that will be deciding who are going to be the 12 drivers that will battle for this season's championship in the playoff system. So drivers now that find out that, we're up running well in the point standings, but we don't have a win, or we have a win, but we're outside the top 30 in points, all these different scenarios, all these drivers, I think, right now are going to be in a little bit of a state of desperation to try and find victory lane here tonight. There may be a couple of exceptions of drivers that may not be ready to press the panic button. A couple of those drivers like Scott Roush, Chris Dollarton, Matt McIntyre, Jordan Lopez, Joshua Osborne, and Seth Cole, they're all up inside the top 15 in points with a win. So right now, they're in a really good spot, but you've got drivers that are down there near the danger zone that are battling for those final spots in the point standings, like Charles Jackson, Aubrey Eisestein, Justin Tucker, Yin Canario, D Shears, Diego Yepez, who won last week at Daytona, and then, of course, two-time winner Nathan Hudson, and our winner a couple weeks ago at Rockingham, J Shelly. Those two guys outside the top 30 in points. They got to get into the top 30 in points for their wins to count towards a playoff position. So there's a lot of different drivers with different scenarios here tonight, and a lot of times scenarios can intersect, and it ends up bringing about a wreck and may end up dashing some playoff hopes. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case here tonight, as Steve Morgan, the rookie points leader, lines upon the pole position. He's going to try and get his first win of the season. Alongside of him, former chaser Ashlyn Boyd from last season on the outside of the front row.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there's the command to fire them up here. So as the Chevy Corvette pace car leads them around this racetrack for their one pacing lap, let's give you your top 10 the point standings coming to this race, presented by Golden Corral. We have a new driver atop the point standings after Daytona. It is Chris Dollarton. The one is in position one. He holds a 7-point lead over the former points leader, Angel Navarro. Matt McIntyre has now jumped up to third place with J Jefferson in fourth, and Chloe Ericsson has dropped down to fifth. Jordan Lopez is currently sixth, Scott Roush in seventh, Quentin Moore is in eighth, Steve Morgan, the pole sitter, is ninth, and Joshua Osborne completes the top 10. 5 of our top 10 drivers have not yet been to victory lane this season. We'll fill you in on what the points scenario as far as the 12 championship competitors, who's in, who's out, in just a moment. But the pace car is about to peel off, and we're about ready to go racing here under the lights at Gateway. Steve Morgan, Ashlyn Boyd, both looking for their first win of the season. Can they do it? Green flag in the air. Let's roll. Ashlyn Boyd driving it deep into turn 1 on that high side. She might be able to stay alongside Morgan. Nope, not going to happen. And now Morgan's got a challenge to the inside as we got a car in the wall back there. That was, I think, the 96 of Z Flickinger. We're still green, though. D Olson thought about that 3 wide, kind of backed out of it, and now he's got Quentin Moore all over his back bumper. As out of turn 4, drag race to the line between the 20 and the 60. Give it to Ashlyn Boyd on the top side. So Ashlyn Boyd finding some good speed on the high side, trying to get around and clear, and he will do so. Nice job there by Ashlyn Boyd. Looked like that outside line wasn't going to work, but Ashlyn was not going to be denied. Found some good grip there and swung around the outside line. So the driver of the 20 out in front, of course, Ashlyn Boyd, a 2-time winner last season, making the playoffs. This season, we've documented his struggle in the standings, 35th in points coming to this race. However, Ashlyn Boyd, the gap between him and 30th in the standings is only 12 points, I believe. Nope, I'm sorry. Make that 16 points, which still, in 3 races, can be made up. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility yet that Ashlyn Boyd can't get a win and get into the top 30 in points and compete for a championship. If it was like maybe the last race of the regular season, then yeah. But no, there's still plenty of time for Ashlyn Boyd to be able to maybe do something here. So we got the battle on for second. Steve Morgan now under fire from D Olson, the former Hershey's Cup Series non-charter champion, as the caution flag is out for the first time here tonight. And it comes out on, I think, lap 3. They were coming to the completion of it. Going on to lap 4, probably the last driver that wanted to see that was the 20 of Ashlyn Boyd, who was starting to open up the gap between himself and Steve Morgan. It's like we had an incident, I believe that's the turn 1 area. No, that's turns 3 and 4, actually. And J Qualls was involved. The driver that comes into this race dead last in the points. The struggling season continues for the 27. He's on pit lane. J Shears also with some damage, along with the 25 of Jessica Miles. Both of those cars appear to have gotten involved in whatever this incident was. And we've got pit stops. So this is interesting. I wasn't exactly aware what the fuel window was for these drivers, but remember what I said about the grip level? These drivers may be coming down pit road to get tires. In fuel, I don't know if it's as much a concern as tire wear probably would be. Now let's follow the 20 of Ashlyn Boyd and see if he does indeed go with any Goodyears, or is this just a gas and go pit stop? Nope, they're going to go at least with right side tires on just about everybody. Let's see if it's a full-fledged 4-tire stop or if it's 2 tires. They are going for the 4. Whoa, look out. A little congested off of pit road there. And it looked like A Eisestein came off pit road as the race leader. A little bit longer stop for Steve Morgan, Ashlyn Boyd, and D Olson. The 3 may have gone with only 2 tires, actually. So A Eisestein looks like she'll be restarting the leader over Christian Merrick Jr., and I believe Phil Parker came out in 3rd, with Quentin Moore, Mark Davidson, Joshua Osborne. I don't know who amongst them is going to be 4th and 5th. We'll find out in a moment, as A Eisestein will get us back under green when we come back. Let's take a look at a replay of what brought out the first caution of the evening here at Gateway. Got to kind of look right in the middle of this pack. Look at the white car there of J Shears. I think he's the one that it starts with. Looks like Seth Cole tried to maybe make it 4 wide down this straightaway. J Shears forces Mason Wood up the track, and they kind of brushed the wall right there. There's like a breakdown area where a car in trouble can go in there. And I think Mason Wood scrubbed that, came down to J Shears into Seth Cole, and then J Qualls gets sent down into the grass. So I think something happens further up. Contact right there for second in the points, Angel Navarro. Jordan Lopez may have gotten a little piece of it, I'm not sure. There was also some contact back there with, it looked like Joshua Hyatt running to the back of Kyle Langeland. Then Langeland runs into the driver's side door of the 7 as well. So a couple of drivers we didn't know got involved, getting some damage. And there is J Qualls and Jessica Miles. Now we saw before that in that 4-wide situation, Qualls was on the inside, and I think he had contact from Seth Cole that sent him into the grass. Yeah, you look right here. Right there, the contact from the 7 into the 66, and Seth Cole down into Qualls. And Qualls down into the grass. He's going to hit the inside wall there. That's not a safer barrier with the driver's side. And then in the grass, the thing just spinning. He's just a passenger, and it slides back up into turn 3 right in front of the 25 of Jessica Miles. Both cars take a pretty hard lick. Fortunately, up there in turn 3, there is a safer barrier. Everybody was able to get down to the inside to avoid these two, but a hard lick for Qualls and Miles. And James Qualls looks like it'll be yet another DNF for the 27 car. We just got back under green. I missed the drop of the green flag, but nonetheless, we're back under green with A Eisestein out in front. Mark Davidson is now in second. Third place is under contest between Phil Parker, Christian Merrick Jr., and Steve Morgan. Right now completes the top 5. After the incident, we saw only one car is out of the race. That is James Qualls finishing 42nd, so 41 cars still running, and all 41 are still on the lead lap. This is an interesting battle right here that we're looking at, potentially for this race lead between the 3 and the 29, because A Eisestein comes into this race 24th in points, Mark Davidson 18th in the standings. Right now, Mark Davidson is in one of the playoff positions. A Eisestein is also just barely in one of those playoff positions. Right now, the 12 drivers coming into this race that were in playoff spots after Nathan Hudson fell back outside the top 30 in the point standings are Scott Roush. He's the only 2-time winner currently that holds a playoff spot. And then the other 11 are Chris Dollerton, Matt McIntyre, Jordan Lopez, Joshua Osborne, Seth Cole, Carson Gum, Mark Davidson, Charles Jackson, A Eisestein, Justin Tucker, and Ying Canario. 2 drivers that are inside the top 30 in the points with a win that right now do not have a playoff spot are Dougie Shears, he's 28th in points, and last week's winner, Diego Yepez, he is 30th in the standings as we got a battle for the lead. Mark Davidson to the inside of A Eisestein. Davidson was one of the strong contenders last week at Daytona, trying to put that 29 in victory lane for the second straight year at that 2.5 mile super speedway, the second time that we go to it that season, but was unsuccessful. Still had a good run and still gained some valuable spots in the points, moved from 23rd up to 18th in points. Right behind him, Christian Merrick Jr. hasn't been to victory lane since last year's season finale at Auto Club, and he is now the lone driver for Backmarker Motorsports, yet to go to victory lane, with James Shelly going to victory lane a few weeks ago at Rockingham. He'll take the lead away from Mark Davidson, and look at another driver that's working his way up here towards the front. You see the Pepsi logo on his hood. That's last week's winner, Diego Yepez. Now, if Yepez can pick up his second straight win of the season, that would put him above all the other drivers that are ahead of him in the point standings with 1 victory. I'm also looking at some drivers here that don't have a win, where they are positioned in points. You've got Phil Parker running right there in second. He's 13th in points. A win could lock him a playoff spot. Steve Morgan, we've already documented, comes into this race situated in the 9th position in points. A win would probably lock him into the playoffs. You look a little bit further back here, there's Cody Llamas. Llamas comes into this race 27th in the point standings, so a win could lock him in. And then not too far back is the 89 of Quentin Moore, who's right now in the, I believe, 9th position. A win would lock him up a playoff spot as well as he comes into this race 8th in the standings. Wow, what a battle right here. Davidson, Morgan, Eisestein, Llamas, Yepez, Boyd, and Moore. This is from 4th place on, or make that 3rd place on back. Whoa, got a car down the bottom of the track. That's Jessica Miles in the 25, who I think is trying to get to pit road. No caution for it, as she was able to get out of the way, but that kind of made it very interesting here when they were almost 3 wide for the 4th position. Llamas will take 4th place, it looks like, as Morgan gets awfully tight off the corner and now opens up the door for A Eisestein. Right now, Christian Merrick Jr. out in front. As a matter of fact, it's actually kind of interesting because we talked about this, I think it was either last week at Daytona or the week before at Rockingham, that 2 teams in this series with 5 cars apiece have 4 of their drivers each gone to victory lane. Backmarker Motorsports has victories with Seth Cole, Charles Jackson, Carson Gum, and James Shelly. Michael Norman Motorsports has victories with A Eisestein, Chris Dollerton, Matt McIntyre, and Dougie Shears. The lone drivers for both those respective teams that have not yet gone to victory lane, they're running 1st and 2nd. Christian Merrick Jr. for Backmarker Motorsports, Phil Parker for Michael Norman Motorsports. Cody Llamas is a man on a mission as we had an incident out of turn 4. Is the caution out? No, it's not. We had something happen in turn 4. And the pace car is stuck in the wall. Oh, and we got an incident on the front straightaway. A Baranauskas just turned J Shelly, and Jessica Miles is blown up. That'll definitely be a caution. Caution is out. So I don't know what happened out of turn 4, but whatever happened, it didn't bring out the yellow. The incident with Baranauskas and Shelly did. And Christian Merrick Jr. will lead us back to the start-finish line here. We're not yet to the halfway point, and the second caution of the day has flown here at Gateway. Looks like Shelly may have gotten away unscathed, though that's going to lose him a lot of track position, and this is a driver that's trying to get into the top 30 in points with his victory. There's Jessica Miles. Now, maybe it was the 25 that went up into the wall there in turn 4. I'm not certain, but that car is definitely done for the day now. Second incident Jessica Miles has been involved in, and A Baranauskas, her contact with Shelly was what actually initially brought out the yellow flag. Now we got pit stops again. Looks like the race leader, Christian Merrick Jr. in second place. It looks like first, second, and third, actually. Christian Merrick Jr., Phil Parker, and Mark Davidson have all come to pit road. Cody Llamas and Steve Morgan decide to stay out, along with Alex Gray, Jake Rogers, Ashlyn Boyd, Quentin Moore, Daniel Olson, and a host of others. So we've got some strategy playing out here. Maybe some of these drivers feel that they can save enough fuel to the end and they don't want the fresh tires. And again, maybe they're expecting this might not be the final caution of the evening. We'll find out. Let's take a look at a replay. What brought out the caution for the second time here tonight at Gateway. Here's a look first at the incident in turn 4 that did not bring out the yellow, and they were 4 wide. That's G Sydnor getting hooked by Chelsea Bowles, and then they go up and pancake A Baranauskas into that outside wall. But since nobody really went completely around, NNSCRA officials did not throw the caution. One lap later, however, an incident does happen that brings the yellow out. Let's look at that now. And this one is yet again another 4 wide situation. Langeland, Shelly, Flickinger, and Baranauskas, and they were coming up on the slower car of Jessica Miles at the time. There you see Shelly just kind of crowds Flickinger up the track into Baranauskas, and Shelly ends up paying the price for it because then Flickinger hooks Baranauskas down into Shelly's right rear quarter panel. That's going to loop the 71 around, and I said the 71 got away relatively unscathed. Well, watch the 25 further back there, the right side of your screen, as Jessica Miles tries to find a way through. She's going to go low, but that little contact between the 2 and the 71 sent the 71's rear end right down into her path. And, boy, she clobbered him pretty good there, too. Obviously, the black smoke erupting from underneath the 25, but that could very well be some pretty significant damage to the rear of the 71 as well, because that was a pretty hard shot. So we'll have to see if Shelly's up to speed. And more than likely, we're going to have at least one more car out of the race in terms of the 25. We'll have to see if anybody else will be out of the race after this incident, as Cody Llamas is the race leader here at Gateway. Getting ready to go back green here. Pace laps don't take very long at Gateway, as Cody Llamas, Steve Morgan, Alex Gray rather, Jake Rogers, and Ashlyn Boyd get us back underway. Your top 10 completed by Quentin Moore, Daniel Olson, Yin Canario, William Brock, and Jordan Lopez. After that latest incident, only one driver out of the race, that being Jessica Miles. J Shelly continuing on, had to catch up to the tail end of the field just before they went back green. Cody Llamas is gone, but he's left a big mess behind him. Look at this. Gray, Morgan, Boyd, Rogers, Olson. They're 3 wide for third place. A couple of Roush Fenway, actually 3 Roush Fenway cars up here towards the front. The 16, 60, and 6. Canario not too far back there in 8th place. Rogers clears for 3rd. Boyd will go to 4th. So right now, Cody Llamas out in front of his, I guess you could say, yeah, I think it is his teammate, isn't it? I know that Alex Gray and Patrick Curtis both have an alignment in their respective series with ML Motorsports. I don't know if they're officially teammates, though, but regardless, for all rights and purposes, since they basically are using each other's equipment, we'll call them teammates for this race. And for both of them, I think they're trying to kind of pull a Hail Mary here. Cody Llamas 27th in points, needs a win. Alex Gray, 15th in points, needs a win. If they get it, they would be in the probably get themselves an opportunity to be in the playoffs. Saw some smoke, and there's a lot of smoke on the front straightaway. The third caution of the evening is out. So now I think this might be why Cody Llamas and company decided to stay out under that last caution, feeling it wasn't going to be the last time the yellow flag would wave. Why not stay out, get some good track position, maybe get a bonus point for leading a lap, and we'll probably see those drivers that stayed out under the last caution probably come to pit road this time, unless maybe this yellow flag is going to give them the opportunity to save enough fuel to make it to the end, and they're not going to give up the track position. Let's see. Now, I'm not certain where the pace car's at. Field's got to catch up to it. I don't think pit road was open that last time. It'll probably be open this time. There's the pace car. Pace car was on the back straightaway. Now let's see if those drivers that stayed out under the last yellow, if they're going to come to pit road this time or not. They're not making any indication down towards the access road, so I think maybe this was their strategy all along. They are not going to come to pit lane. They're going to stay out, and they're going to keep that track position. So let's go back and take a look at the replay of what brought out the caution for the third time here tonight at Gateway. Another 4-wide attempt here into turn 3. This time it's going to be, I believe, Charles Jackson, Nathan Hudson, Christian Merrick Jr., and Diego Yepez that make the 4-wide formation. There you see Jackson I think he thought he was clear on Hudson, tried coming down in front of him. Hudson wasn't going to lift. Gets Jackson the left rear quarter panel. Pretty hard licking the outside wall there for Charles Jackson. He comes down the track, gets Scott Roush in the passenger side door. Matt McIntyre got a piece of that. And then watch towards the tail end of this here. There's Ryan George. He's going to get a pretty good shot. Contact there as well for the 3 of A Eisestein. There was something further up here, too, that happened. Oh, up here. Whoa! That's the points leader. Chris Dollarton getting involved. Oh, wow. Look at this. After Hudson turns Jackson, watch here as this 3-wide continues with Hudson, Christian Merrick Jr., and last week's winner, Diego Yepez. Hudson and Yepez both kind of crowding. One's turning left, one's turning right. They're crowding the 78 of Christian Merrick Jr. Coming to the line here. Boy, Joshua Osborne, one lucky guy to get by all that, but then Hudson's kind of winning this battle. He forces all 3 of them down into the inside wall, and look at the points of Chris Dollarton. Where's he going to go? There's nowhere to go, and as he tries turning up, Seth Cole is already there. And the one got some air. And then he gets hit from behind by Justin Tucker in the 19. Tucker's going to go up and hit the outside wall pretty well, too, with the right front of his Toyota Camry. Number of former winners involved in this one, including Hudson, Dollarton, Yepez, Tucker, Cole, and then, of course, Jackson back in turn 4. And then everybody gets their cars right and continue on, but we got a number of damaged cars now after that incident. We had a wreck and then a follow-up wreck. So basically 2 wrecks in the span of about a straightaway, putting us under the caution for the 3rd time here tonight at Gateway. I think it's the 3rd, maybe it's the 4th. Getting ready for the drop of the green flag once again, and it will drop with 11 laps to go. Nobody out of the race after the incident we saw. However, we do have one car that's a lap down. That's Seth Cole, and since we are restarting with more than 10 laps remaining, Seth Cole will be on the inside line of these lead lap cars. So this will be a very interesting restart nearing the closing stages of this race. Cody Llamas out in front. He needs to get a good start. 2nd place is going to be Alex Gray. And I failed to mention that we've been here before. Our debut race of Gateway on the schedule was last year, and the winner of that race, restarting 3rd, Ashlyn Boyd in the 20. Jake Rogers, Quentin Moore complete the top 5. Then Dean Canario, Steve Morgan, Jordan Lopez, Daniel Olson, and Carson Gunn. That's your top 10s. The green flag's back in the air, and Cody Llamas got himself a good jump. Dean Canario tried to do the same, but Seth Cole was on that inside line. That was close, going into turn 1. Llamas gets away with the lead. Gray in second. Battle is on for third. Jake Rogers gonna get it from Ashland Boyd, it looks like. Now Quentin Moore there to try and make a move. As up front, Alex Gray trying to reel in Cody Llamas. It's like Boyd on the high side is gonna hang on to fourth place. Caution's out again. The yellow flag has been used quite a bit here tonight. And I don't know who necessarily it was that was involved. There's so many cars near the rear of the field that have damage, so it could be any one of them. Yellow flag waves one more time, and each one of these yellow flags that come out are kind of a godsend for Cody Llamas, and the fact that every lap he's pacing under caution is one less lap he's defending the race lead. So he will get another restart, and it will be with less than 10 to go. But for now, let's see what brought out this, our latest caution. Well, this was actually on the drop of the green flag for the restart. Everybody congested here trying to get by everybody else. And watch Kyle Langeland. He's going to go down on that rumble strip. Chelsea Bowles says, that's a good idea. I'll follow you down there. But then watch when the 31 comes back up on the track. Right there, loses a lot of speed and then gets run into by the 19 of Justin Tucker. Now, that didn't bring out the caution, but it kind of led to the wreck. Watch the 4 of Ryan George on the inside line. He's got Joshua Hyatt all over his left rear quarter panel. And right here, you're going to see he's going to get hooked right there. Very slick down there on the rumble strip. And Ryan George going to spin it around right up into the driver's side door of A Baranauskas. And Chelsea Bowles going to get a piece of that incident as well. So the caution did not come out for the contact between the 31 and the 19. It was the spin by the 4 after that contact that brought out the yellow flag. So technically a solo car spin brings out this yellow flag, and it involves Ryan George in the 4. Let's go back now for the restart and see how many laps we'll have left to finish out this race. Let's see if the flagman gives us the 1 to green signal this time. He does, so we will go back green with 6 laps to go here at Gateway. I'm trying to cast my memory back as to whether or not our inaugural race here last year at Gateway was a wreck fest, and I don't really remember whether it was or not, but we have had the caution fly probably more tonight than we probably will in tomorrow's race at Pikes Peak in the Hershey's Cup Series. 4 or 5 times the caution has waved here this evening. And Cody Llamas, you go back to, I think it was our 3rd caution, he and a number of other drivers decided to stay out. Since then, with the aid of yellow flags, they've been able to probably save enough fuel to make it the rest of the distance. And as a result, with the strategy, they got themselves good track position. Cody Llamas looking for his first Pizza Hut X Series win. He's a former winner in the Hershey's Cup Series. As he'll bring him down here to the green flag. 6 laps to go here at Gateway. Llamas got a good start, but Alex Gray got an equally good start. Quentin Moore, he was ready for the green. He's going to the inside of Ashland Boyd for 4th place. But Ashland Boyd's been very good on that outside line on restarts. So we'll see if Ashland can fight back here in turn 3 and 4. No, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Quentin Moore's going to get the spot. Now Yin Canario, our Daytona winner, going to try and take 5th place. Now he wants 4th place as he's going to get to the left rear quarter panel of Quentin Moore's 89. And caution's out again. And this might end the race under yellow. Incident in turn 1. It might. We may get back green for a 1-lap shootout, maybe a green-white checkered, but not going to be very many laps left if we do go back green. And it looks like it involved the 29 of Mark Davidson this time. A lot of damage on that machine. Former winner at Charlotte this season. So Cody Llamas, his troubles may not be over yet. He may have one more restart yet to try and hold off Alex Gray. But for now, let's take a look and see what brought out this caution. We've done more pacing than racing here tonight at Gateway. Well, apparently Cole Deaver's spotter did not tell him what happened to Chelsea Bowles on the last restart, because Cole Deaver's going to drive it down deep into turn 1 here. You see him on the left side of your screen, down that rumble strip, and kind of almost deja vu with what we saw happen with Chelsea Bowles. Cole Deaver comes back on the track, loses a lot of speed right up in front of the 29 of Mark Davidson. Davidson's going to hit that wall pretty hard, and we had an incident further back here involving Scott Roush, Chloe Ericsson, and Joshua Osborne. Now, what happened with them? Oh, it was the 38 of Scott Roush who also tried going down there on the rumble strip. And Roush triggers a second wreck behind the initial wreck involving Deaver and Davidson. Right here, he's going to come back up on the track. And in that instance, to be fair, he might have actually saved it, but Osborne kind of pinned him down there. So there was going to be inevitable contact between the 38 and the 70. And then Chloe Ericsson, who had a struggling finish last week at Daytona, gets a big chunk of that wreck as well. Ooh, look at the points leader, Chris Dollerton, just barely slide past those guys. That was a close call for him. That brings out the caution once again, sets us up for maybe a green-white checker, maybe a one-lap shootout here at Gateway. Let's find out what we're going to get. Well, last year in the Hershey's Cup Series, Cody Llamas was the driver of the 48, but he ended up finishing out the regular season standings so far down, he was in the bottom 5 and ended up losing his Hershey's Cup Series charter for this season. Finished out the year. Apparently the picture's not going to load, so I can't tell you officially where he finished out the year, but he lost his charter. Had to come down here to the Pizza Hut X Series. Think about it. If Cody Llamas wins tonight, if he makes the playoffs and he finishes top 5 overall in this season's point standings, he would get his charter back in the Hershey's Cup Series for Season 7. He finished 38th of 39 drivers last year. But it's a one-lap shootout for Cody Llamas. Can he do it one more time? Alex Gray's going to try and get to him, and Llamas was ready for the green. He already opened up about a car length and a half lead heading into turn 1. Perfectly timed restart for the Florida Panthers Chevy Camaro. And with this being a one-lap shootout, any caution that comes out doesn't matter. We're racing back to the checkered flag anyway. 2 car lengths in hand through 3 and 4 for Cody Llamas. He had to make the restart of his life, and he did so. Cody Llamas will come to the stripe and pick up his first win of his Pizza Hut X Series career here tonight at Gateway. And for a driver that came into this race 27th in the point standings, this now puts him right up in the conversation to battle for one of the 12 playoff positions in this season's chase for the championship. Alex Gray finishes right behind him in the second position. So that is a 1-2 finish for ML Motorsports here tonight. Cody Llamas, the quest to get back to the Hershey's Cup Series begins here tonight at the Gateway International Raceway. Standings are not official yet. Now they are. Had to wait for some cars to cross the start-finish line, who I think got involved in a wreck there in the closing stages, but it didn't have any bearing on the winner, so we will not be looking back at a replay of who was involved. As Cody Llamas will get Rookie of the Race, obviously, as well, with this victory. Llamas comes into this race 11th in the rookie points, so this will help him in the rookie points battle as well. Alex Gray right behind him, finishing in second. Gray is second in the rookie points standings. Quentin Moore will finish the day out in third place, so that ends up being Quentin's third top 5 of the season. Jake Rogers has been struggling in the point standings as of late. Great run for him there in fourth. And Ashland Boyd, I think Ashland likes this track. His last 2 finishes, a win and a 5th place finish. Yen Canario, this is a big time finish for him. The 6 will finish in 6th, our Daytona winner, because of the fact that he's down there near that battle for the final spot in the playoffs. Jordan Lopez keeping his playoff hopes alive there with a 7th place run. Steve Morgan will finish the day out in 8th, so all 3 of the Roush Fenway cars finish in the top 10. William Brock, nice run for him as he'll finish the day out in 9th, and Phil Parker is going to complete the top 10. Look on down through the remainder of the finishing results here today. And looks like maybe some of the drivers that got involved in the wreck would include Eli Bright, James Shelly, Cole Deaver, Ben Braley, and Seth Cole. They all finished off the lead lap. So they may not have even made it around to the start-finish line. And please pay no attention to the pace car that is twerking on the screen. Anyway, you look down here, and Chris Dollerton, not a great run for the guy who came in as the points leader, but the guy that was trying to run him down for the points lead, Angel Navarro, didn't finish all that much better. He finished 5 positions ahead of him, 4 positions ahead of him. So I think Chris Dollerton's going to still hang on to the points lead. And I think it might be close, actually, between himself, Navarro, and Matt McIntyre heading into next week, because Matt McIntyre had a decent outing in 17th here this evening. 3 drivers finished out of the race: Mark Davidson, Jessica Miles, and James Qualls. To be honest, I'm surprised there were more drivers that finished behind the wall, as we spent most of this race under the caution flag. But a number of drivers that came in that kind of critical spot of battling for those final spots in the point standings, or as far as the playoffs: Charles Jackson, Aubrey Eselstein, Justin Tucker amongst them. You see where they finished: Eselstein in 16th, Jackson in 31st, and Tucker in 33rd. So not the runs that a couple of them were looking for. And of course, Diego Yepez as well put his name in that picture with his win last week at Daytona, and he finished in 19th place. Nathan Hudson came into this race 32nd in the points, 5 points out of 30th in the standings. He finishes 21st. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get him back into the top 30 in the point standings. We'll have to wait and see. But Cody Lamas now puts his name into the ring for a driver vying for a playoff position here this season. We'll have to find out after our next 2 races if it will be enough. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's race from Gateway, tonight's Caution Fest, if you will. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown your full finish results. These are your rookie point standings and your overall point standings. This 12 drivers right now that would hold the playoff positions are highlighted in yellow. Next week, you'll see the Pizza Hut X Series drivers, as we'll be heading to a very favorite track of mine. It's almost like a super speedway, only it's small. It's Hillside Raceway. All 3 series will be there: Trucks, Pizza Hut X Series, and Hershey's Cup Series. But we got to finish out this weekend, as it'll be a different venue for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers. You'll see them racing at Pikes Peak. That's all to come here, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Good night from Gateway International Raceway.